Welcome to the Crush It in Sales podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet. This podcast focuses on the intersection of sales, leadership, and personal development. Now let's get ready to dig in and crush it. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's doing okay out there. I know there's a lot going on and it just continues to add up. So if you need some inspiration or motivation, feel free to check out my other podcast, The Good Karma Success Coach. That is more personal development. And I have some great meditations on that podcast. I meditate every morning. And this morning, I think I need to double up today because it's just a lot. But I wanted to share a couple really cool things on my podcast. One is an exciting announcement. I signed a book deal. Actually, I'm going to rephrase this. Ryan and I signed a co-authoring book deal with Maggie Mongan, and she is the author. She compiles authors and she writes herself, has for years, of a book series for small business owners called Brilliant Breakthroughs. And it's an international best-selling book series, and the book that we will be in will come out November 11th of this year, and it will be her 4th annual book. So very exciting. This isn't just a new thing that she just started. So we're very excited to be part of an established international best-selling book series. And here's their thought process behind it too. Not just the top stuff I just said, but there was a lot of thought that Ryan and I put into being part of something like this. I had been wanting to write a book this year in 2020. And with everything going on and everything on our plates, and a lot having to do with things that are going on in my husband's business, Good Karma Sportfishing, all good stuff, all really cool opportunities we're working on, there's just not enough time in the day for me to sit down and write a book. We actually wrote my husband's ebook together right when COVID started. We put that as a lead generator and a freebie on his website. So check that out if you want to hear a little bit about Ryan's story and some fishing tips. So that was a cool undertaking, and we were able to knock that out pretty quickly because all this stuff is in our heads. We've been doing this for years and years. We're not newbies. We're not newbies in the space. We're not newbies to the business. So it kind of came naturally to put that together. And I still wanted to write my own book, but I just don't have the time. So I ended up through networking and connecting through my friend Susan McCushton, who was on this podcast, actually on the Good Karma Success podcast about a month ago. So check out that episode. Her field is compassionate diversity, which is very important right now. But through her, she connected me to Maggie. And Maggie is a very successful, amazing, just fun to talk to as well, business coach. So not only does she have this book series that she's put together for 3 years and now 4 years, including this year, but she's a business coach. And I just love her thought processes. I love what she has to say. I love chatting with her as a sounding board. And sometimes you just need that. Sometimes you just need a coach to know that you're not crazy, that your thoughts are in line or maybe need a tweak or whatever. And, that's why all coaches should have coaches. And I really just loved that. So that was another reason why I signed up for Ryan and I to do this. And I also thought it would be really great for people to hear Ryan and I's perspective. And the topic that we're going to be covering in regards to small businesses is confidence. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'm actually going to be working with him on the chapter this coming weekend. We decided to stay in this weekend and work instead of take a vacation. There's just too much going on in Florida, so it makes sense to just stay home and work on some things. And our topic is going to be confidence, so stay tuned more for that. But Maggie is fantastic. She also has a podcast that you should check out called Brilliant Breakthroughs. And if I got that wrong, I will correct it in the show notes. But that's the name of her book series, and she has an app and all this other fun stuff. Another reason why I wanted to do this is something I've talked about many times before on this podcast and the Good Karma Success Coach podcast, is to build relationships with more people that are like-minded. And this book series has an excellent community. of fellow writers, fellow business owners, and I've already started to build some connections within that community, and that is just really important to me. It's important for my growth. It's important to learn and develop and, just get better. Just get better, share more, add more value to the world for myself and for my husband. So I love the fact that this book series also has a community. So I hope you join me on this journey. I'm super excited. It's fun. I know you probably might not have had exposure to my husband, but he's his own person, and it's always fun to tell him what new projects we're going to be working on and see the expression on his face. But I learned a long time ago that if he doesn't say no, that it's a yes, and that's kind of how we roll in our household. So anyhow, but thank you for hearing me out on that. And again, I hope you tune in for my adventure as I share it along the way. The other thing I wanted to talk about this morning is just give a great book suggestion, especially if you're traveling for this weekend. This weekend's the 4th of July. If you're traveling, if you have a little road trip, I just finished listening to Bob Iger's book, The Ride of a Lifetime. I have been traveling a lot these past 2 weeks for sales and was able to listen to this book. It is so good. I haven't listened to someone's autobiography in a very long time. I tend to listen to more self-help books or books on social media to help Ryan with his business. And Bob's book is just truly amazing. And I remember all his stories. His storytelling is off the charts great and something to look to as an author, as a writer myself. I just really loved his style. But it's all about leadership and some personal development. And I just had so many takeaways. Number one is he talks a lot about time and how much time things took. And I think that's really important as an entrepreneur to realize that negotiating, building relationships, working through deals, he talks a lot about working through the board. All those things take time. So I love in his book how he'll say when things happen, because so many of us are impatient, me being one of them. And so it's great to hear that, some of these deals, building a relationship with Steve Jobs, like all these things took time. He walks through his whole career path from early days at ABC. He talks about working on the Olympics. He talks about then when he became head of Disney, getting Pixar, getting Marvel, Star Wars, George Lucas, and Fox, all of the straight up business information is fantastic. And just his leadership skills. From reading the book, obviously don't know him, so someone might be disagreeing with me out there and say this is one-sided, and that's okay. But, he just seems very relatable. He really understands talent, and that was a big part in acquiring these companies. Was he wanted to build his talent. He saw that people were really important, and the skills that they were going to bring along with them was really important. And it was a lot about talent. And that was just really fascinating to me, because he even says in the book, which is super true, is companies are really not, when a company buys another company, often it's not for the talent. It might be for some other reason. And I see that as well. I see companies really not understanding who is talented on their team and really appreciating them. I see it all the time. I hear it all the time. And, often companies are more into the people that are just, following along, drinking the Kool-Aid, dealing with the behavior, whatever, and they're not really appreciating the talent on their team. And like I said, I've seen this for years. This is nothing new. I'm sure everyone on this podcast that is listening can relate in some way, shape, or form in regards to leadership not appreciating talent. So I just really, really loved that about this book. It was a lot about relationships, a lot about talent, and the whole timeline story was just fascinating from a business perspective. So if you are looking for something to read or listen to, I highly recommend this book, Bob Iger's The Ride of a Lifetime. I don't normally give book reviews, so this is my first one, but it just kind of went hand in hand with me sharing the information about Ryan and I co-authoring a chapter in a book series that is all co-authored. I should say that we're not fully the writers of this book. It's a book with all other co-authors, the Brilliant Breakthroughs book series. So I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you've ever been in a book series, please share that with me too. I love to hear people's hindsights, their learnings, things they would have done better. I know there's a lot of marketing involved. I'm excited for that because we're always working on our marketing skills and building our audiences, and that's a fun piece of this too. So until next time, please reach out to me, melinda@melindavanfleet.com, and follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I hope you have a beautiful 4th of July. Please stay safe, and I hope you crush it in sales. Thanks for listening.